Hey, 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 what's up, fellas? Huge Callaway Live tonight. Chris Harrison from The Bachelor on. You excited?
Yeah, I love Chris Harrison.
I love Chris Harrison. Can't wait.
I've been watching The Bachelor since the beginning.
Yeah, I started also. Actually, that's not true. I stopped watching lately.
How come? What?
I just felt like the people on the show, the men and the women that were on there, the contestants, they were so catty, and the way they talked about each other behind their backs, it just sort of left a bad taste in my mouth. You know what I mean?
I could see that.
Hey, Tyler, did you play any golf this weekend?
Yeah, actually teed it up with AJ and Chad.
Seriously? AJ and Chad? You know, those guys don't even like you, Tyler. They're totally in it for the wrong reasons. They only go because of your nice club. Ridiculous. And AJ, did he wear the tight shirt? You know, the youth small? Seriously? Ridiculous. I can't stand it. It was just three of you?
Yeah, Nate was there as well.
Oh, Nate, really? With the pants? Did he wear the white pants? Those tight white pants? You know, the ones that make him look like he has two butts? Seriously. Ridiculous.
You know, you're not catty at all, are you?
No.
By the way, don't you have a show to do?
Oh, live show? No script? What could possibly go wrong?
Hey, everybody. Wow, look at this crowd. Good to see everybody. I can quite honestly say I have never been in any room with this many women in my life. Yes, thank you. It's ladies' night here on Callaway Live. I'm Harry Arnett. We have a great show for you guys tonight. This is, you know, dare I say it, this will be the most dramatic Callaway Live ever. Tonight, and we have the hardest working man in show business. What'd you say? I know I did. It's the most. We have the hardest working man in show business. Chris Harrison is here. Did you guys know Chris was here? You did. Oh, okay, great. I thought you were just big fans of mine. And it's also the playoff week, as you know. Patrick Reed's still first in the playoffs. That deserves a whoop whoop. Because he's our guy. This is a Callaway show. See where I went with that. And with Chris being here, we asked his agent and his manager, we said, Chris is going to be here. Is there any way we can get Chris through his busy schedule to host a bunch of our shows that we have, our content? And they said, absolutely not. You cannot. He's too busy. Unless you guys figure out a way that Chris can mash up with some of your things. And we thought, okay, we'll give it a try. So one of the things that we decided to do is Chad's tiny Millionaire studio, which is right here, as you see. I don't know. He looks very tough. That's photoshopped, obviously. And then, this was one you were in, Amanda. Shots Fired Bachelorette edition. A very flattering costume. You know,
I have to talk to somebody about that outfit.
Not sure where we got that.
I don't know.
Someone's going to get punched. And the last one is the Miss America fitting room with Nate and AJ. And I don't know who that is. That's a Miss America, I think. Maybe. That was pretty, no laughter on that one. Okay, well, we're going to edit that one in later. But don't go anywhere, because I promise you, you're going to enjoy the show tonight. Chris Harrison will be here right when we get back on Callaway Live.
Over the course of 4 days, we're going to help 3 high-performing athletes drive the golf ball farther than they ever imagined.
People want to hit the golf ball longer. It's the most important aspect in the game of golf. It determines every player's potential. Distance takes your game to the next level. We're going to show people how they can do it. Welcome to the Distance Lab.
Welcome back to Callaway Live. That was a piece Red Bull Media will be doing with Callaway that starts tomorrow, which is September 7th, right here on CallawayGolf.com. CallawayGolf.com. Bookmark that ish. Okay.
Harry, you know what? Everybody keeps commenting on how many women are in the crowd and just what a dreamboat Chris Harrison is. But the only time we've needed the fainting couch all season was when Greg Maddux was here. It's because Harry fainted when Greg Maddux was here.
That's a good point that you make, and it'll be your last point that you make. Speaking of which, not your last point, but speaking of Chris Harrison, our guest tonight, 20 seasons of The Bachelor and Bachelorette, 15-year run, one of the longest-running shows in the history of television. He also, as I mentioned before, is the hardest-working man in show business. He's the host of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. He's the host of the Miss America pageant, of which I am not a contestant. Please welcome to our show, also avid golfer and our friend, Chris Harrison. Right there, buddy. Hollywood.
Whoa.
Look at that guy.
Good.
Look at that.
Strong shoulder, good turn.
Yes. Yes.
Business face.
I love that. I love
business.
that. I said it, 20 seasons of Bachelor.
Is that right?
20. Did you know this?
Seems like a lot.
Yeah, I'll name them for you. So first we had that guy, Andy, or no, I'm just joking. Alex, yeah.
Sadly, I do know that.
Did you ever, I mean, obviously you couldn't have thought it was going to have this kind of run because you were just sort of minding your own business as a sportscaster in Oklahoma.
Well, I had already moved out to Los Angeles. Oddly enough, I had started up a horse racing network as well. And then I'm sure a lot of the fans in here tonight might know.
Yes, HSPN. Have you guys watched that one at all? No? Okay.
There was a horse racing network called TVG, but then I started doing another show called Designer's Challenge on HGTV.
Yes.
And that was actually turned out to be one of their highest rated shows they've ever had. And it was crushing it and did really well. And then I got into The Bachelor. And look, anybody that tells you, they have a hit or they know a show's going to go 15 years, because first of all, that does not happen in television. They're either, lying, ignorant, or both, probably both. But you look at a show like American Idol or The Bachelor or whatever, and you don't
Callaway
know.
Live.
You don't know, like Callaway Live, which is astounding it's made it this far.
Yes.
Let's be honest, right?
Yes, we've had a bit of a shorter run than you have.
Thank you, Herm Edwards, for saving the show. But, how good was he last week?
I'm still fired up.
I felt here's who you don't want to follow on Callaway Live. Herm Edwards.
Yes, I know. Sorry
I watched the show. I literally got up and ran through my wall. I want to play for you. But anyway, so The Bachelor just comes on, and this is what I wanted. I'd never had a network show before, and I was married at the time, and I told my wife, I said, look, I just hope this lasts. It was picked up for 6 one-hour episodes. 6 one-hour episodes in the spring of 2002 is when we started. And I said, look, if it just goes for a couple hours before it gets canceled, I'm going to be really happy. Maybe I'll meet somebody and it'll lead to a good job. 15 years later, it just won't go away. It's probably more socially relevant now than it ever was, which is astounding. Because again, that doesn't happen because, say a 30, 40-year-old woman watches the show, well, their children don't think that their show is cool. But there are, 100 girls sitting in, a sorority house right now watching The Bachelor. It is the new soap opera.
I thought he was going to say Callaway Live, and I was like, I was hoping you were going to say
Every
Callaway
female watching Callaway Live, they're here.
Yes, I think you're probably right. Sadly, golf show. Yes.
I think you appeal to the female demographic.
I do. I had to have my own children as girls to appeal to some version of the female demographic. And that's only because I give them money every week.
But it is, and honestly, in all seriousness, it is not lost on me. You realize how blessed you are in this business. You don't get home runs like this. It was a little lost on me early on because it was my first network show, and the second year with Aaron Berge as our Bachelor, we had 33 million viewers. We outdrew the Oscars. We outdrew the World Series that year. Sports Illustrated used to have this thing called the Sign of the Apocalypse. And it was The Bachelor outrates the World Series, the sign of the apocalypse coming. But, it was like going to the Super Bowl. It's like, well, first year on tour, you win the Masters. It's great, but you don't really understand what it takes to win the Masters if you just show up and they put a green jacket on you. Having done this now for so many years, I get, and I really respect the fact that we work hard and we make this happen every year. And so I think I'm more appreciative now than I was back then.
Did you have a moment back then when you came home and you're like, this is a little different than what I expected, whether it was people recognize you that you didn't anticipate, or I'm sure that everyone you run into wants you personally to put them on the show? Well,
what happened was the first season actually wasn't that great as far as the ratings go. It was this guy named Alex Michel, and ABC was a bit of a dumpster fire back then. It was kind of the old shows got tired, and it was like NYPD Blue, and according to Jim, some of these older shows were kind of dying out. And so The Bachelor came along. And so it was good, but it wasn't it didn't change the world. But over the summer, there was this weird change, and people really got behind the show. And by the time it came back in the fall of 2002 with Aaron Berge, and that's when, we had upwards of 20, 30 million people watching, you could just tell, like, I feel like something's changed, and like I for some reason I feel like my life's never going to be the same. And I didn't know if it was a good thing or a bad thing, but I could just tell. And it wasn't TV; it was like the New York Times, Time Magazine, People Magazine, and in places you wouldn't expect that you would see them talking about the show. And I thought, they're talking about my show. And eventually, you see on Saturday Night Live, they're spoofing you, and you're like, I don't know, if, like, holy, there's kids here. Holy heck!
Yeah.
They are. That's different.
We're not network, so you can
Chris
say shit.
Kattan is playing me on TV.
Yeah.
And he's spoofing me, which is a weird thing.
He wouldn't be my pick for wanting me to spoof me, but
Well, it's funny. So I ran into. Sorry to drop this name, but I ran into Chris Kattan at a party, and I ran up to him like, Chris, oh my gosh, and he's like, and he stepped back like I was about to hit him. And I said, what are you doing? And he's like, well, I never know what people are going to think of me making. I said, oh my God, you can make fun of me all you want. That's the greatest thing in the world. Regis Philbin did the same thing. He actually came up one time on a red carpet, and I'm such a student of the game. I love hosts, and I love studying them, whether it's Bob Barker back in the day or Regis or, Al Michaels and Bob Costas as sportscasters. And I watch these guys, and I study them, and I saw Regis, and I was just, fawning over him. And he's like, Harrison, sorry, my Regis is bad, but he's like, are you okay with me always making fun of you? I said, Regis, you can make fun of me all you want, just like say my name. I don't care.
yeah. When did you feel like it tipped over from TV show to being such a cultural phenomenon? And now people use phrases from the show in our everyday
Right, it's part
jargon.
of the lexicon. Yeah, it is. And what's weird is it took a while for it, I think, to become like a part of the vernacular of America, where everyone just says it and knows it. If you can't hand a rose now without being that guy. We've changed the rose. You've changed a flower into meaning something, which is pretty incredible to think. But it really took a while. It was a slow burn. We created a show 15 years ago that is perfect for today's social reality. When we started, there were no blogs. There was no MySpace, much less Facebook, Twitter, Tinder, Instagram, all that. And so all that kind of became reality, and then our show was already there. And it's just the perfect blend of things. Like right now, if you create a show, what do you want? You want to become socially relevant. You want to be cool. But as soon as you say, get a bunch of old guys in a boardroom, you say, guys, how do we become cool? You're immediately not cool. Right there, you're dead. Well, The Bachelor just was, and it happened organically, which is how you actually become cool. It was just a viral, organic thing that happened.
So note to self, don't get a bunch of people in a room to decide what's cool. You can't do that.
Right, because as soon as you do, you're not.
Yeah. Interesting how that works.
Yeah.
I like also in watching the evolution of the show, how you've changed sort of as a host too, because I like how you sort of are above it all, but you also are enough in there to kind of stir it up. And did that take a conscious decision on your part to try to play that role in the show?
Well, I learned a lot. I was a sportscaster for a long time in Oklahoma City, and I had this amazing mentor, this guy named Bill Tegans. And Bill taught me a long time ago, when I was young, I made a mistake. And he said, Chris, you can't make mistakes. You're too young, you're fresh. You need, I can make mistakes. He was 45 at the time.
Oh my goodness.
And he's like, I've been around a while. People know me in this city. They respect me. I've earned their trust. You have not. And I think I had to go through the same thing as The Bachelor. First of all, there was no reality TV. Survivor had been on one season, so Jeff Probst was doing his thing, and I was trying to figure out what my job was as a host. I knew how to be a sportscaster and how to host a show like Miss America or something like that, but this is very different. And like, am I a referee? Am I a friend? What am I? And where's my place in all this? So really at the beginning, I was just very cut and dry, more of a host. And then as I got older, and I feel like I gained everybody's trust and I earned it. Not just the fans, but also you sitting across from me. I've been there and I will be there for you. And I will never back the bus over you unless you deserve it. And so, and I tell everybody that. But I feel like I've been around long enough, and also being married myself and now divorced and having 2 kids, and I have the life experience, and I feel like I speak from a place of understanding and empathy, and I have learned quite a lot. I mean, I always say I'm not a doctor, but I am on TV. I really feel like I understand people, and I'm probably a better dad now than I was 15 years ago.
It's really
just
funny
from the
how
show.
all the contestants.
Yeah,
lean on-
Harry, I'm sorry to interrupt. It's just on our first night, the one-on-one time is really important, and I feel like I haven't had time to connect with Chris yet. And I don't mean to be rude, but you've had a lot of time with him so far. No, Chris, you can stay seated. I'll come to you.
Okay, I didn't know if we were going to go to the hot tub or no, to stay here.
No, let's not get crazy. I'm still a lady, Chris. I'm still a lady, but I would like some one-on-one time.
Thanks, Chris.
Okay, it was a good talk. Good talk.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Yeah, go ahead, Amanda.
Okay, yeah,
Just know before you go that was going well, but hopefully I'll see you later.
I'll see you later. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude. I felt like we needed this one-on-one time a little bit.
No,
Okay.
I just want you to know that I couldn't wait till he left. I already feel this connection.
I do too. Yeah. I'm so happy we feel this way. I'm excited for the ceremony tonight. So, well, I mean, let's talk about audition tapes, right? That's what I'm most curious about. When you kind of watch these audition tapes, how do you choose which girls or guys are going to be the ones that really spark a great season and which ones are maybe a little too crazy, not crazy enough?
Well, first and foremost, I won't take credit for casting all of the girls. I'm more involved with who the Bachelor or Bachelorette will be, because that is kind of our lead character in our show. As far as the overall casting of the 25, say the Bachelor's coming up, the 25 women, there is this wonderful woman, Lacey Pemberton, who runs our casting department. And they go around the country, 365 days a year looking for people. And let's take care of a couple misnomers. We don't cast crazy. We don't look for the crazy.
Chad.
Here's the thing. How many people would you say are in this room right now? Probably like 80?
73 exactly, because that's the fire code. 73 exactly.
I was like, who guessed that? You should win that, guess how many M&Ms are in this jar. That was amazing. Okay, so if we lock the doors, 3/4 of the people in this room are crazy. They just are. That's the law of averages. That's the way it works. But here's, in all seriousness, what we try to cast are stories. Yes, I'm looking at you. We're trying to cast a story of, whatever that story may be, something that will arc over an entire season. Because again, it is a bit of a soap opera. We want to, you have been through a divorce, or maybe you lost somebody in your life, or whatever it is you bring to the table. And we want a cross-section of that. We want a girl from San Diego. We want the girl from New York. And we want the girl from Alabama or Iowa. And the girl from San Francisco. And how do they mesh? How do they, what are their defense mechanisms? And you have to understand, because everybody's thinking right now, I'm not that girl. I wouldn't be that guy. Yes, you are. Because if we take away your mom or your dad, whatever your defense mechanism, what is it? What is it that's your go-to?
My French Bulldog, Teresa.
It could be your French Bulldog. Oh, that's okay, maybe it is. Or your, TV, or your friends, or whoever you vent to that gets you through those times. We take away your safety blankets, and you have to actually deal with these emotions and these feelings. And it is, trust me, it is really real, and it is very open and honest and raw. And that's what you get, is when you take away all of the things that make you feel safe and protected, and you actually have to react and act and go face to face with somebody. Yeah. It's not so easy.
So in short, we're all crazy, but we did have
Everyone's got a little crazy in them.
That's true. We did have a little bit of a soap opera today at work that you helped us out with. And
what was that?
To show, well, don't you remember, sometimes AJ doesn't quite have as many friends as he appears to have.
He's a sad soul.
He could be a sad soul, but Chris was here to help him with this, so let's check it out.
AJ, what's up, bud?
Hey, Chris, what's going on, man?
Why the long face, man? You look like you just missed a 2-foot putt in a tournament.
Just cleaning my clubs, even though, I'm probably not going to use them again this weekend.
What's wrong, man?
I don't have a partner this weekend for my 4-ball match.
That is, I hate to see somebody so down. Well, I help people find love on The Bachelor and Bachelorette. Well, I also extend these skills to the golf course.
Really?
And if you want, I can help you. I can help you find love, lasting love, and a strong relationship on the golf course.
Please, I'll do anything.
Well, you have to be sincere about going on this journey, because this will be the most dramatic golf event of your life.
Chris, I was born for this. Let's do it.
Let me introduce you to your suitors. Here they are. Eligible golfer number 1 is retail marketing maven Nate Adelman, a single-digit handicap who enjoys golfing with his dog and plays to, quote-unquote, crush it. whatever that means.
I've been told I facilitate greatness in my partners, and you know what? With me and AJ, the first time I met him, just the connection we had, there's no way he doesn't pick me.
Eligible golfer number 2 is CMP correspondent Amanda Balionis, a passionate beginner who plays the game with one hand so she can hold a beverage in the other.
I'm always going to have the cocktails cold, ready to go, and the best playlist out there. So I feel like between all of that, plus my passion for the game, I'm going to knock it out of the park.
Last but certainly not least is eligible golfer number 3, staff photographer Chris Autzen, a double-digit handicap who doesn't quite know yet if he's a righty or lefty.
I think I bring a lot to the table. I don't know what kind of golfer AJ is, but I sure as hell know with my photos and filter combination packs, I can make him look better.
So we are leaving you at the ultimate cliffhanger right now. You see the struggle that we kind of deal with on a daily basis here at Callaway Golf.
Are you kidding me? I felt that. That's why I'm here.
So we will be showing you the results of that at the end of the show. You don't want to miss it. AJ, please pick me. Just think about it while we get the rest of the show going. But yeah, so let's talk about what a surprise this was. How this changed your life personally. I mean, professionally, we talked about how this changed everything about your career moving forward. But personally, I'd imagine this has opened some unexpected doors and you have girls showing up for you everywhere you go.
Well, it definitely has. I mean, it's blessed my life in ways that I'd never imagined. And I come from Dallas, Texas, very, very simple kind of family and very traditional conservative family. No one in my family's in this business. No one ever thought about being in this business. And I never did either. When I went to college, it was to play soccer and to get an education. And that was it. I had really not thought much further than that. I know that doesn't speak well of me, but that was it. And I didn't even know what I wanted to be when I grew up. And I went to college and I found sportscasting. And I was like, wow, like you can do this? Like people do this for a job? This is great. And it was my drug. I fell in love with TV, with live TV, with sportscasting. And as soon as I did it, my first job was a sportscaster at my school. I was doing play-by-play for the basketball team. And as soon as I did it, I was just like, this is it. And that's kind of the path I started taking. And as you go, you just kind of dive into things. And I have this belief that doors will open and you walk through them and you take advantage of it. And it's been a wild ride because it was such a new world to me. Everything I've done has been a first in my family and to me. And so it has been an amazing, I hate to use this word, but it has been an amazing journey throughout the entire time. And, in my life, I'm never, the great thing and the fun thing, I guess, for me is I'm never not amazed. I'm never not blown away by stuff. I'm never not, incredibly happy and grateful for, today I was at the, Callaway getting fit, for brand new clubs by a guy that fits Phil Mickelson and Patrick Reed for a living. And while I was embarrassed for him and, I felt like we were, killing a fly with a jackhammer, I'm just like, I pinched myself 10 times today going, who does this? Who gets these opportunities? Yeah. And so it really is a blessing. And so I every step of the way I wake up and I'm just like, thank you. Like whoever's been watching after me, thank you. And I always feel like that guy that at some point someone's going to tap me on the shoulder and be like, Mr. Harrison, like we found out who you are.
Just kidding.
Yeah, you need to get your stuff and you need to go home. And by the way, when that happens, I'm gonna be like, I have gotten away with murder. Thank you. I'm totally good. I'm out. But it's been fun, and I try to take advantage of it, and I always try to keep it in perspective. I've had real jobs before.
Right.
I've worked construction and sand and finish crews of floor companies in Texas in the summer, and so I know what I'm doing. I'm not saving lives, and I'm not. So that's why early in the interview I was like, maybe I don't take myself so serious all the time, because I get it. I get what I'm doing. And while I can be sincere and have passion for what I do, at the same time I know that there are people really doing important jobs in the world. And hopefully my job is helping them escape from whatever they are, in the middle of.
I can't believe that maniacal, crazy attention grabber Amanda stepped in. If I don't go back in there, I'm going to regret this the rest of my life.
That work for you, Tom? I got to get you out of the frame.
Okay.
So
I'll do it again.
Right side.
I'll do it again.
Okay, here we go. One more time. You ready, Tom? In 3, 2.
I can't believe that attention grabber Amanda stepped in there and stole my one-on-one time. If I don't get back in there, I'm going to regret this the rest of my life.
Wow.
How about most famous person in your cell phone right now?
Even though we just met, Chris?
Yeah.
I feel a few hours ago, I feel like I want to spend the rest of my show with you. So, Amanda,
I think that's my
had
cue.
enough time.
It's been really great. Maybe I'll see you later.
I hope so.
Okay.
I hope so.
All right. Thank you so much. Think about it. long
Was that 3 seconds too long?
See myself out. See myself out.
She does that to all of our guests that are here, by the way. So don't
Way to
pay
kill
any
it.
attention.
That was
I know.
doing well.
Sorry about that. Hey, when did golf become such a big part of your life?
It wasn't growing up because I watched it and I would sneak onto the public courses around Dallas and all that. But we had very little money, so at the time, in Dallas, it's kind of like you'd either maybe go to a public course, but it was kind of a country club sport still back then. And so I really wasn't exposed to the game very much at all. And I actually learned to swing a club. I think I got a copy of Golf Digest, and I read an article about Tom Watson, who became my favorite golfer. And I just watched how he swung a club in the magazine, and that's what I emulated my swing after. And I was kind of an athlete because I played soccer, so I think I could figure it out. But I really didn't get into it until really college, and then after college, when I started playing, especially as a sportscaster, in some of these events, like coaches at Oklahoma or Oklahoma State, or Vince Gill, who's a local guy, had a big tournament down there. And so I would play in these tournaments, and it was embarrassing because I was horrible. And so I thought, I just need to get good enough at this game so I can play in these events. And so I did. I just put my mind to it, and I would go out to where I could shoot in the mid-80s, and I could hang with anybody and at least converse and not look like a fool.
Yeah.
But as you know, once you drink the Kool-Aid, you're done. But I've always been a fan. But the sport has gotten so much easier to be a part of. And whether you think Tiger for that or whoever, Jack, Arnie along the way that has exposed this game to the masses, it's made it very easy for a guy like me to walk in and play and be a fan.
So you still putting some money into the machine and getting out some range tokens these days? You're doing a little better now.
I'm doing a little better now. Yeah, I'm playing at nicer courses now. But I still love, I go everywhere. When I'm traveling around the world, I try to play. I just played in Phuket as we were there for this last season of The Bachelorette. We shot, Caitlin's season over in Ireland, and so I would travel around and go. I love going to courses, and I do. I love the game, and I love the people you meet through the game. I have met some of the greatest people in my life, some of my closest friends now, through the game of golf. It really is a wonderful thing. And the charitable contribution as well. I'm involved with the Tiger Woods Foundation and have been since he cut the ribbon on his learning center just up the road here in Anaheim. And I truly believe in what he has done. I believe in what the learning center represents. And I love being a part of that. And I hosted an event for Graham McDowell and some of these other guys. I love to help out. Again,
feel free to throw in a Callaway person every now and then here, Chris. I mean, geez.
Would it kill Phil Mickelson to call me?
Yeah, exactly.
Patrick Reed?
We can hook that up.
You see, you can take my job. If you could pair me up with some people.
I will.
Actually, I just threw out a couple free agents that are actually for sale right now, so you may want to call Tiger.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Well, that's the whole point of this show, is how really golf is so small and brings everybody together. It's how we met. We have a mutual friend, Trey Marucci. He said, "Hey, Chris is a friend of mine. Would you like to have him on the show?" I said, "Absolutely." And here you are.
I met a guy, Buddy and Trey. You guys might know Buddy Marucci. You true golfers. He is known for losing to Tiger Woods. Actually, but he was one of the best amateur golfers in the United States and a great ambassador for the game. And I met him while I was out. Can I name drop a course?
Yeah, of course.
Buddy was sweet enough to get us on Marion and Pine Valley. A terrible duo, by the way. Don't play those courses. Two really average courses. But yeah, so we went out, and Buddy Marucci had us out there, and his son Trey. I met Trey, and through him we were talking about golf and equipment and kind of family, and he mentioned Callaway, and he paired me up, and that's why I ended up down here today. And it has been an experience that it will now change my life. It really has already. Just the people I've met today and going through the fitting with Garrett and other people I've met around here. I love the family feel of Callaway. It's very inclusive. I mean, you guys have a food truck out in the parking lot. And everyone's out there eating jambalaya, drinking wine, and hanging out. Like, these are employees that should be running away from work because their shift is over, and everyone's hanging around. It's been a friendly, loving place. And if you can create that atmosphere, no matter what you do, then it's a win. And I think you will get the best out of people.
Yeah, we have a guy that used to work here running the camera right there, Mark. So that's great. We know you're really busy.
Sorry,
we appreciate you coming down and spending some time with us. Thanks so much for being here. That's all. That's it. We're out of time.
I was so prepared for the hardcore questions.
We'll come back for part
two. That was
two.
easy. I felt like it got off easy.
And the moment everyone's been waiting for, to see who
AJ ended up with, right, as his golf partner. We will see that in 1 second. Thanks, everybody, for joining us tonight. Next week, we have Sean Toulon on Callaway Live. Thanks to Chris Harrison. Thanks to Amanda. We'll see everybody next week on Callaway Live. I saw that bug the whole time.
All right, AJ, you've had time to find a partner on the golf course.
Yes.
It's time to make a decision. Are you ready?
I think so.
AJ,
I'm ready.
This is the final red Callaway hat tonight. When you're ready.
All right, thank you. Well, first, let me say this is by far the hardest decision I've ever made in my life, my golfing career. But since I only have to pick one of you, Nate, you had me at dog. Will you please accept this red hat?
Of course I will.
Thank you, partner.
Congratulations, guys.
Thanks.
Amanda, Chris, I'm sorry. Take a moment, say your goodbyes.